Hey everybody, and welcome back to Tying Tuesday. Brady Lair here with you, tying up a nice caddis pupa. This is something I've been playing around with for a while. It's really kind of a play off of the Nitro Caddis and similar to the Kryptonite Caddis, that Juan Ramirez pattern, which is really solid. Kind of a simplified version, and then we're putting it on a Perdijig with a nice big bead on it, and calling this the Knumbskull Caddis. Couple variations here. So the one that we just saw in the vise, that is our light olive coloration. We're going to spin up a fluorescent green as well. So we got it going on to a Perdijig hook. This is from Umpqua, their 210 BL. Got a size 16 today, and then I'm getting a bead on here. This is their Jig Bomb Bead from Umpqua as well. And we're tying on a size 16 today. This is great, and 14s and 16s tend to be the sizes that I fish these. And a 3mm bead, so a nice heavy bead, a great runoff fly. When you put your bead on there, you want to make sure that you have it countersunk forward. There's a couple different ways you can operate these beads. If you want them more front-loaded, kind of like that, then you want that countersunk up front. If you want it to sit higher up and maybe sort of straight up on the shank, then you can do it the opposite way, and that'll be more conducive. Starting out the thread that I have, just some 8/0 Veevus today. And I like to try and use that thread. A lot of times you can just sort of slide it on the bead and pull it around and position it. And then we'll get some nice snug wraps in, make sure it's straight on top. Walk back and secure that down. I'm only gonna do a few thread wraps back and forward, as you saw on the finished fly. We're leaving a good bit of bare shank for this pattern. But then the first thing I'm going to tie in is just some Hairline fine Chenielle, the fluorescent green color. It's a nice bright attractor green. And I'm going to go ahead and take a lighter to it and sort of just burn a little bit of a taper. You can kind of melt this stuff down slightly with a lighter and darken it. I like to light that back end on fire so that you get that little black butt section on it. And then again, you can sort of just feather it down a little bit. You don't want to go too crazy there, but a nice taper. And then we can take that and tie it in right where that ends. I want this to extend just a little bit past that hook shank. We'll get some locking wraps on it there, secure it in place, and we can trim out the rest. I also found that by burning the Chenielle, it tends to be a little more durable. You're getting all of those fine threads to sort of bind down into each other. Now all we got to do is just make a quick little collar on it here. Just a bit of a thread base. And then I'm going to add in a couple of Krystal Flash, the black Krystal Flash. It's got some nice green to it. As sort of antenna to this fly. So you can grab a single strand or 2 strands. I usually do a single strand, and then I'll trim it in half, giving me 2. And then I keep them aligned, and we're going to throw them in. And I vary this a little bit, but I do like them to be extended out a ways. So we'll go just past where that body ends, and we can tie those on. And then as I go back on them, I like to pull one to one side and the other one to the opposite side. Get them to flare out a little bit there. And you can trim out the tag ends. And now we're going to run our collar up on it. And this is just some SLF dubbing in brown. The SLF Squirrel in brown, that is. But before I can add it in, I need a dubbing loop for it. So we'll make a quick closed dub loop. Doesn't have to be too big, nothing crazy here. Back up behind the bead. I do want this to be nice and full though. So we'll grab a fairly decent bundle. Sort of prepare it into a flat, even spaced rectangular shape here and toss it in, and then you can always manipulate it a little bit from there as well. And then we'll go ahead and spin it up real good. Doesn't have to be great. I want this to be real messy anyways. So we'll spin it up real nice. Sort of massage it rearward, get some of the stuff that doesn't want to stay out of there. And then we can wrap that on forward. It's a great pupating, emerging caddis bug for me. Been a lot of fun to experiment with and get out there and tie, or to experiment with tying and then get out there and fish it. As summer rolls in, especially as we have some high water going on in Colorado, this nice heavily weighted caddis pupa can be a great one to have on your line. Maybe trail it with a blue wing olive if it's still somewhat early season. You can mix it up with some other stuff as we transition to bigger bugs, stoneflies and that kind of thing. That's all there is to the Knumbskull Caddis. So great little pupating caddis pattern. Awesome on the Euro rig with that nice heavy bead on there. It should ride hook point up. It just is a deadly, deadly little pattern. So let us know what you think. If you enjoy it, if you get a fish on it, love to hear about it. Again, here's the light olive color in contrast, a little more natural. And then there's some tans and browns that you can utilize in that material as well. Enjoy tying.